AskReddit. What is something that instantly killed the crush you had on someone? Saw him at a family reunion. She was crazy hot, but let her 2 dogs poop in her apartment, and she would leave it there for days. Him talking dog poop dried and hard, just chilling in her kitchen, living room, bedroom, whatever. And she thought I was weird for having an issue with it. Girl I knew in high school had the house to herself one week and threw a party that Friday night. She refused to pick up the little indoor dog's poop, but would at least drape a paper towel over it. So when we got there that Friday, there were little poop teepees all over the house. We gave her so much shit about it that night. When I was in 7th, I heard his friends saying go talk to her, go talk to her. So I was waiting there all excited. So, how much do you weigh? His friend in the background screamed anything but that. He randomly sent me pictures of his dick. It really weirded me out because there was nothing in the conversation that could have led up to that, and I didn't know what to say, so I just told him nice pages fam, then never talked to him again. She told me all about her fantastic exciting life, but the more I got to know her, the more holes I notices in her tales. Turned out she was just an adept pathological liar, and I literally didn't know her at all. The girl she had painted a picture of across 3 weeks and multiple dates was entirely fictional. The magic died when I asked about a small inconsistency, giving her the benefit of the doubt, and she blew up at me, turned everything I had told her about my life into an attack on my character, and then acted as if she said it for my benefit. All that just to deflect from my question. On our first date, he screamed at the waitress for taking too long, only about 5 minutes, plus they were busy, to bring out our dessert after we ordered. She kept apologizing, even though she did nothing wrong, but he kept going on and on until she offered to comp our meal. As soon as she walked away, he gave me the douchiest smile and said, see that? With me, you'll always eat for free. I left what would have been the total for my meal plus 20% as a tip for her when he wasn't looking. I was totally planning on a second date right up until that moment. Glad I dodged that one. Edit. First and only date. Never saw him again. Didn't call him out on it because social anxiety, and he was my ride home. She casually mentioned how many guys she has dated to get free perks. She called it breakfast, lunch, dinner, and that's exactly what it was. She would set up multiple dates on the same days, so she would be wined and dined. That happened to my buddy, and a group of us discussed some of the warning signs, like only being available on a super specific day and time, but having a job and social life that leaves you free. So I met a pretty nice girl online and seemed kinda into me too. When I asked her out, she immediately recommended a place she'd never been to before, and only on Tuesday night at 5 PM. She said she was a freelance programmer and worked from home, so all warning signs checked. Anyway, I get there a bit early and grab a seat and ask the waiter to bring me split checks. Deal is done. She comes by about 10 minutes late and we talk, and she's not so bad, but she dominates the conversation and doesn't ask me any questions to get to know me. So she begins to order the biggest burger, upcharged to tater tots, and then she asked if it's okay to add avocado. Yay, sure. Why are you checking with me? I don't mind. Okay. She eats about a mouthful and then asks for a to-go box. Cool. Waiter brings the checks. Her mouth is agape as I pay cash and stand up. I told her the conversation was nice and good luck with the rest of her evening. I tipped the waiter on the way out. She admitted to making out with her stepdad every now and then like it was no big deal. I've seen that movie. I was casually dating this guy, as in, we had only recently met and only been on a couple of dates back in college. He was educated, had a good job and his own place, polite, etc. Basically, no immediate red flags. One day, he wanted me to come over for a casual pizza night at his place. I had just finished up a 12+ hour long day due to my scheduling combination of non-stop classes and a part-time job. I was exhausted and did not feel like spending nearly an hour doing my hair and makeup to get all dolled up for such a casual date. I texted him something along the lines of, I had a long day, can we keep it casual tonight? I hope you're okay with yoga pants and a hoodie. He responded with, "Actually, no, that's not okay. When you're spending time with me, you should always make a full effort to look your absolute best." Then, he started trying to tell me what to wear, something along the lines of, "Why don't you put on a pretty dress, make yourself look nice for me?" It was one of the weirdest conversations I've ever had. After he made the dress comment, I simply stopped responding. I never spoke to him again. He kept on texting me for a while, asking what was wrong and why I had just disappeared. I honestly don't think he realized what he said was so off-putting. I met who I thought was a sweet girl in college. One day we were walking around campus and talking. We talked about pets. She told me that she had a purebred English sheepdog that she had put down right before she left for college because she didn't want anybody else to have him. I told her off, walked away, and never spoke to her again. He picked his nose and wiped it on a door handle. People were watching. My dad did this on his first date with my mum. She took it that he had plenty of confidence. You are lucky to be alive. Had a crush on a girl on/off for like 3 years in high school. We were great friends for the whole way through though. Anyway, during Christmas of my first year of college, her sister sent me a Snapchat of this girl I liked lying on the floor, practically in tears, screaming it's the wrong one. I responded with something along the lines of, "Oh fuck, what happened?" Turns out her mom got her a PS4 for Christmas, but it was the Uncharted edition. She wanted the Last of Us edition. She liked both games and was going to get both of them anyway at some point. That's when 3 years of built up romantic feels just fell out of me like Taco Bell with laxatives. When I was in 8th grade, there was this quiet girl in one of my classes that I thought was really cute, but since she was so shy, I rarely talked to her. One day in class as I was doodling on one of my notebooks, she asked I was drawing, to which I replied it was a Van Halen logo. It was the mid-80s. She didn't know who that was, so when I explained it to her, her face got real grim, and she said, "That's devil's music. You're going to hell for listening to that noise." I laughed, but she was serious. I rarely ever spoke to her again after that day. In the mid-2000s, I had a few community college courses with a good friend of mine. In our English class, there was this girl that he was immediately smitten with. They started hanging out all the time. I'm pretty sure they might have actually been fucking, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, one of our assignments was to write a paper about our biggest hero and to present it to the class. I wrote about my WWII veteran grandfather. My friend wrote about his music teacher from high school. And then she gets up and starts talking about Hitler. Later, our professor said his favorite moment of the year was the look of absolute horror on our faces as she spoke. Whatever he had with her ended instantly. My ex one time wanted me to hang out in the bathroom while he was showering so he could tell me about his day. After a few minutes, the most god awful smell to ever grace my nostrils appeared and I started coughing. In between trying to breathe and trying to ask what happened, he interrupted me and laughed saying, "Sorry babe, I couldn't wait any longer," and he showed me that he took a dump in the shower. I was pretty grossed out, but accidents happen I guess. Then he started smashing it with his foot so it would go down the drain. "Oh don't worry babe, I do this all the time." I was done at that point. She invited a friend over, overweight black nerdy guy, who lent her his PlayStation 2 and some games. When he left I was taken back by the gesture and she sarcastically said, "Yay, he loves me. So you're aware this guy has a crush on you. He actively tries to show his love and has made his feelings clear and you're just using that?" Dude was one of the most innocent souls I ever met. He probably did love her, but if that's how she treats feelings then I want no part of what she is. Saw her kick a stray cat on the street. I ain't gonna love someone who just abuses animals like that. I won't say this was instant, but I started to figure out she really wants attention on her at all time. If people start talking about shit she has no idea about, she will just start talking out her ass to be center of conversation. And if people still don't care, she will just leave the conversation and join another one where people will listen to mostly her. That is a big no-no about people I get involved with. I'm rather laid back person and probably could not handle spending significant time with someone like that. I had a crush on this guy in my church for years as a teenager. I started liking him at like 12 or 13 and was undyingly in love, or so I thought. When I turned 18, I was about to move out and he asked me on a lunch date. That night when I got home, my mom was on the phone kinda bragging to her friend that I finally got the date I wanted for so long. Her friend was like, you need to keep your daughter away from him. Turns out he was babysitting for a neighbor, a family I actually babysit for, and a family in our church too, and he took one of the little girls into the bathroom and made her take off her diaper or panties or something, and was touching her when the older sister walked in. The family moved away, and he was in a very complicated legal case after that. I don't know the results because the family moved away and I moved to college and nobody heard anything. Even if it wasn't true though, I lost all crushes and anything else for the loser.